Can you guys hear me? This is the first time I'm doing this when I'm unemployed. So if you guys, I'm open to job offers, I guess. So what's happening? Why is this not? Oh, it'll come now. It should come. There. Yeah. Good. Yeah. You start. Okay. So anyone here build user interfaces? I guess pretty much everyone. Yeah. It looks something like this. This is Myntra. Spent a bunch of my life here. Maybe InstaMojo if Akash is around. I spent half my life here now on my Twitter page. Yeah, and it's quite nice, right? And you guys use one of these frameworks, or one of your own, or homegrown. Even the guys who say that they don't use frameworks. Cool. And you guys make a little diagram of all the pieces of your framework, and I copied this from Google. This isn't the way I would build it, of course. And then you like compose them into components. This is how React would show it, right? And then like you'll use a little tool that lets you mess with the components. This is how you build user interfaces. Cool, awesome. So now what about the tools that you actually use? What do they look like? Do you have a terminal with 4 tabs open? One for your database, one for your app, like a Webpack thing running somewhere, a Node app in another one. Anytime you want to make a change, you have to make a change in your Webpack config or your Browserify config. You have to edit JSON. You have to Google what the API is. Maybe you run a bunch of tests, and this is what your test config would look like. Your different configurations for production or whatnot. It's kind of shit, right? How do you hold these things together? Do you, every time you start up the app, do you have to run a few commands? Do some of you guys use Docker? That's kind of useful, I guess. You can start up some things in a VM. Stop tweeting at me, please. Okay. What about your build systems? Do you use npm scripts, something like grunt, gulp, brunch, some variant of it? You write a whole bunch more scripts, and it's more code that the next person who comes in has to see. Maybe we should think differently. We are, of course, UI developers. We spend hours and weeks and months and years building pixel-perfect interfaces for our users to use, whereas the interfaces we look are kind of crappy. What if I could do this with my workspace? Like, I really want, I have a composition structure with React or web components or whatever. What if I could mount all my stuff like this? People use Nodemon to like restart on every file change, no? But React gives me like hot loading, so I should be able to change the port there and just have the server change. Why can't I make a menu with my scripts? I have to go and find out in my package.json what the scripts are available. Why can't I have a little page that says, that has 3 menu links that let me do this, or whatever you want, with little buttons to restart your server or whatever? What if I could use a router, one of 5,000 routers, or the very controversial React router launch, the new thing that just came out? Why can't I use that? Because that's a way to route my actions to different places, no? Why do I have to write gulp tasks for it? What if I could start up my app with a URL? Like fundamentally, I say different tasks in my thing point to different URLs, and I can pass query parameters. Why do I have to learn what command line flags you have decided for your thing? URLs are a pretty generic, well-known way of building stuff. Why can't I put a browser into this directly, or a terminal into my workspace? These are questions that I've been asking about my workspace while I've been building it. Any respectable mad scientist doesn't run around 5 different tables, right? You try to get everything together in one place for your tools. It doesn't have to be neat, but it just has to be something that you're comfortable with. This isn't a talk about React at all. It barely has to do with JavaScript, really. But it strikes me that we are in the job of building great interfaces between humans and computers. So this is a talk on human-computer interaction for our own jobs, or for your own projects or side projects. Stuff that I showed you isn't really new. We have the tools for it right now. You guys watched the Electron talk, I'm sure. Cool. You guys watched the Electron talk. These are things that are already possible. In fact, the code that I just showed you is working right here. See, I have a little shell thing that's spitting out what my list is. I have a little server running. This is just an Electron app with a React app running inside it. These are the things that we should be building now. This is what the road to Minority Report, where you're doing all those cool things, is incremental. We should start looking at the pieces that we have and be able to compose them in ways that we are already comfortable with. Use web components, use React, who cares? Just move away from a command line that was outdated about 50 years ago. A thought leader called it abstraction abuse, and he thought he was insulting me online. But I happen to think it's a great punk rock band name. So abstraction abuse for the win. Look at the tools that you're already using for other people and build your own tools with it. Thanks.
Next up, Savik Basu.